Tonight on the fifth quarter, we'll recap LSU's huge resume-defining win over Texas in Austin and what it could mean for the rest of the season and potentially the college football playoff.
Plus the story of a former LSU track standout who is fighting to get his chance in the NFL. All that and much more. The fifth quarter starts right now.
First fifth quarter of the semester. I'm Luke Chevalier, he's Zach Nunez, and Texas may not actually be as bad as they thought.
Right. LSU and the Longhorns squared off as top 10 foes in a regular season matchup for the first time since the 1950s. And the game did not disappoint, unless you're a UT fan. Tiger TV sports reporter Tima Masters wins in Austin and has the recap.
In a night where the Tigers had to rely on the offense, Steve Engsmeyer and Joe Brady crafted over 573 total offensive yards, including a 61-yard TD pass from Joe Burrow to Justin Jefferson to seal the game. Coach O mentioned that the offense would have to win the game.
Calling with Steve Engsmeyer and Joe Brady and the game plan was phenomenal. And they had them. They felt like they could look over and get us in the right play according to the coverage they did. They did it so many times.
Having the Tigers in a groove allowed the offense to roll, and quarterback Joe Burrow thought the line allowed him to let his receivers get open.
Those guys are so talented. We have guys behind them too that can play just as well, and that's all credit to the O-line. When I have time back there, our receivers and myself are talented enough to make things happen.
With the line holding strong, 3 different receivers had over 100 yards, which had never happened before for the Tigers, and wideout Justin Jefferson embarked on the historic night.
In this whole offseason, we was like, we have the best receiver core in the nation. So having 3 receivers going over 100 yards, that's something big. That's something, we made history tonight. So, that's the mentality we've been having this whole offseason, so that's what we got to keep doing.
The historic night ends with the Tigers winning 45-38 on Saturday.
Reporting for Tiger TV Sports, I'm Tima Masters.
The win sees LSU move up to numbers 4 and 5 in the AP and coaches poll respectively. But not only that, with the win has the rest of the country and the SEC on notice about the Tigers.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things viewers around the country and here in Louisiana took away from the game is how different this LSU offense is from years past. People had talked about the changes over the summer, but it was put on full display in Austin. The Tigers offense racked up over 500 yards in a new high-flying style that is a sight for sore Tiger fans' eyes. And it was, understandably, the subject of a lot of what Tigers talked about post-game.
LSU. You're not used to that one, huh?
How different is that from the past?
Yeah, it's definitely different from what we did last year. I think we would have kind of tried to pound the run game and eat up that clock.
We've been talking this whole offseason. We was like, we have the best receiver core in the nation. So having 3 receivers going over 100 yards, that's something big. That's something, we made history tonight.
Tiger signal caller Joe Burrow finished with a career night, going 31 of 39 with 471 yards and 4 end zones, and receivers Terrace Marshall, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase all eclipsed 100 receiving yards, the first time that's ever happened in LSU program history.
A big part of the pregame sparring between LSU and Texas revolved around which school was the rightful holder of the moniker DBU, mainly because during the week leading up to the game, Texas's account tweeted this photo of their playing wearing these DBU shirts, causing an uproar from LSU fans and players alike. But after both defenses gave up over 400 yards passing and over 1,000 total combined yards were put up from both offenses, we really didn't get a definite answer as to who DBU is, but probably got an answer as to who isn't.
This weekend sees the Tigers take on in-state foe Northwestern State, the alma mater of head coach Ed Ogeron, and Coach O brought up those divided loyalties earlier today.
Looking forward to Northwestern, the place that I got my degree, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. The best thing that ever had at Northwestern, I got my degree, and I networked. And I met some people, and I got to get into college coaching, and for that, I am very, very appreciative. Not going to be appreciative about a Saturday night, but I'm appreciative of it.
Northwestern State comes into this game at 0-2 in the season and will likely be a 40-plus point underdog. Still to come on the fifth quarter, the story of a former LSU track and field standout who's working to land on an NFL roster. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Week 1 of the NFL season is upon us, and just under 1,700 players find themselves on an NFL roster. That number accounts for just under 0.2% of all high school football players in the United States. I caught up with former Tiger Cyril Grayson to talk about his fight to be in that number. The road to the NFL has never been an easy one, and it's no different for former LSU track star Cyril Grayson. For Grayson, it began at Archbishop Rummel High School.
That's some right pride right there.
Coach J. Roth came in to one of my basketball games or saw me or something like that and came and hollered at me, and definitely learned the game, and I got to learn a lot of different positions at the time as well.
While attending Rummel, Grayson would also run track and excel at it.
Coach J. Roth at that time was real good with me, at least. Some guys who weren't really serious about track, he didn't really want them doing it too much, but then he knew that I was serious about my track and that I was good and that I was doing what I was supposed to do for football and track, so they played hand in hand, and I think that growing up, sports, period, everything that you do kind of tie into whatever is going to be the big picture whenever you grow up.
And it did tie in. Grayson, with the help of his track coach, would catch the eye of a college track coach just an hour down I-10.
Coach Kyle, my track coach at Rummel, was just real good with sending out my information to everybody, and he was pressing everybody. He wanted everybody to go somewhere, so he was good at pushing me until they finally answered the call. And luckily we run at LSU for our state meets and stuff like that, so they was able to see me. I won a lot, so it was kind of hard not to notice me. And then just going on my recruiting visit, and then those guys, how they showed so much love to me, and there was no other place that I wanted to go.
Grayson would accept the track scholarship from the Tigers and continue to succeed, winning 4 NCAA championships, an SEC championship, 7 All-American, and 5 All-SEC honors. But the love for football was always there, and despite not being able to play football for LSU, Grayson is willing to battle any adversity to succeed in the NFL.
With track, with every part of my life, it's been a lot of adversity, and I think that's been the transfer here with the NFL.
Grayson was signed as an undrafted free agent with the Seattle Seahawks and makes stops in Houston and Chicago before getting a call from the New Orleans Saints.
But with that being said, all of those times were blessings and good opportunities. And then I get the greatest opportunity, to come home and play for the hometown squad and getting to learn from those guys. It's been an amazing ride.
Despite leading the Saints in receiving yards during the preseason with 147 yards, Grayson was left off of the 53-man roster. But tonight, his former team takes on the Houston Texans in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome tonight at 6:10 on ESPN. When we come back, find out what New Orleans Pelican Zion Williamson did this time that has social media going wild.
Welcome back to the show. New Orleans Pelicans forward and recent #1 overall pick Zion Williamson caught the headlines over the weekend as he visited Rucker Park to unveil the new Air Jordan basketball shoes. Zion went internet viral once again as a video came out showing Williamson and a group of young fans taking flight in unison to make an unreal video. Take a look.
It's an awesome video, huh? Isn't it? He just gets up there so high.
I know, he has something like a 48-inch vertical. And, I got to see that on display when I went to Washington, D.C. for March Madness this past year. I was covering the Tigers, but I did get a chance to interview the young sensation. And as I was around him, the one thing that I picked up is he almost has a Kawhi Leonard-esque humbleness to him. Like, with all this press and everything that's on him, I just feel like he's very grounded and level. And I don't know if it's being raised well from a child or what, but he handles the pressure really well.
I think what I like about Zion, and especially all of the new Pelicans that they got, is just Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, and everybody just kind of seems to immerse themselves in the whole entire Louisiana culture. And you saw that when Zion and Jackson Hayes and Nickeil Alexander-Walker came for the football game the other day.
That was awesome. And one thing I'll give Josh Hart credit for is he really touched the heart of a lot of Louisianites. I don't know what we're called. But anyways, he talked about how much he loved Cane's and how good it was and just delicious. And I know that made me like Josh Hart more.
Somebody gave that man a rule book on how to get Louisiana people to love him because everything he has done so far has been for the betterment of New Orleans and everything. Well, that's all the time we have. For now, check out our social media pages and visit tigertv.tv.
For Zach Nunez, I'm Luke Chevalier. Thanks for watching, and good night, Tigers.